Round 10 of the Formula One World Championship season was staged at Magny-Cours, the French Grand Prix. Michael Schumacher went into this race with a 24-point lead over David Coulthard in the Drivers' Championship, but it was Ralf Schumacher who claimed his first pole position of his career. Ralf Schumacher on Michelin's, so Michelin claiming their first pole since they came back into Grand Prix motor racing, and effectively at their home Grand Prix. So Schumacher 1-2, and all McLaren row 2, Jarno Trulli and Juan Pablo Montoya on row 3, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, who was first here in 1999 with Rubens Barrichello on row 4, Jacques Villeneuve on row 5, his best finish here second in 1996, Olivier Panis on row 6, yet to score a point in his home Grand Prix. At the start of the warm-up lap, Mika Hakkinen signalling that he was in trouble. The rest of the cars got away, but Hakkinen in the McLaren stranded there on the grid. Concern in the McLaren pit, yet more problems for them. Barely a race goes by without them having some sort of trouble. So the race underway without Hakkinen. Ralf Schumacher thundered down to the first corner. Michael Schumacher came under pressure from David Coulthard, but saw the McLaren off and back into third place. Hakkinen discussed events with Ron Dennis at McLaren as the brothers Schumacher led the French Grand Prix on the first lap. Ralf ahead of Michael, David Coulthard in third, Juan Pablo Montoya up to fourth. Barrichello had come up from 8th place on the grid to 5th. Into the hairpin, and the top three bunched together. Ralf Schumacher trying to take advantage of his pole position, but his brother Michael and David Coulthard refused to let him get away. Early departure, Jacques Villeneuve, not one of his favourite circuits. Early pit stop, Rubens Barrichello. The suggestion that he was about to stop 3 times. Irvine past Panis. These two had started on the 6th row of the grid. Barrichello setting the fastest lap after his pit stop, 1:16.181 on brand new tyres. But still it was Ralf Schumacher leading the way from his brother, David Coulthard and Juan Pablo Montoya 3rd and 4th. Barrichello temporarily had dropped out of the points down to 7th place. First pit stop for Ralf Schumacher. Leading the race, but he couldn't expect to stay in front after this pit stop. A problem with the right rear, and Ralf Schumacher had been stationary for 10.3 seconds. Michael Schumacher assumed the lead. But soon he was called into the pits. Schumacher, as always, precisely stopping on his marks, giving his crew every chance of performing a good pit stop. And 7.7 seconds was one of the best of the afternoon. The pit stops for David Coulthard and Juan Pablo Montoya, who both led the race briefly. Michael Schumacher and Ralf Schumacher went back into positions 1 and 2. David Coulthard was chasing after Ralf Schumacher from 3rd place, but then was given a stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. This effectively ruled him out of contention for the middle part of the race. Coulthard dropping from 3rd to 5th. The two Williams cars were running together, Ralf Schumacher and Juan Pablo Montoya. Out of the points but battling hard, Heinz-Harald Frentzen and Eddie Irvine. Frentzen looked certain to receive a stop and go penalty after taking a shortcut at the chicane, which prevented Irvine overtaking him. But Frentzen then opted to let Irvine through and remove the threat of the penalty. Jarno Trulli, quiet but effective race, in 6th place before he went in for his pit stop, 7th when he came out. Michael Schumacher, though, was in complete control. leading the way and extending his lead over the rest of the field. Barrichello, having come up from 8th at the start, was now running 2nd. David Coulthard up to 3rd, ahead of the 2 Williams cars. Montoya then dropped out when his Williams BMW failed towards the end of the race. Ralf Schumacher was now in 3rd place, David Coulthard in 4th. Ahead of them, the 2 Ferraris. But Barrichello needed a 3rd and final stop. This promoted Ralf Schumacher to 2nd place. Juan Pablo Montoya came in 2nd at Nürburgring, but nothing at Magny-Cours, and nothing either for Eddie Irvine after a promising show in the Jaguar. Michael Schumacher stayed out in front, a solid 15 seconds plus ahead of his brother. Ferrari seemingly had nothing to worry about. McLaren could only think about what might have been. Coulthard pushed hard towards the finish and closed on Barrichello in 3rd place. He had just the one chance to get past him, but Barrichello recovered, coming out of the hairpin, and kept David Coulthard in 4th place and off the podium. Michael Schumacher drove conservatively towards the finish, heading for the checkered flag and his 50th Grand Prix win of his career. His 5th win in 8 races at Magny-Cours. He saluted his team at the side of the track. Michael Schumacher first, Ralf Schumacher second, Rubens Barrichello holding off David Coulthard for 3rd. But the plaudits for Michael Schumacher, winner in just over an hour 33 in front of this 120,000 crowd at Magny-Cours. Classification showed that the Schumacher brothers were separated by 10.399 seconds. Barrichello joined them on the podium. Coulthard, Trulli and Heidfeld picked up the remaining points. Kimi Räikkönen, having started from 13th place, just missed out on a point, finishing 7th. Heinz-Harald Frentzen had an eventful race, although he had no points at the finish when he came in 8th. Olivier Panis, still no points from his home Grand Prix in France. Other drivers classified included Jean Alesi on his home circuit and Jenson Button. Yet another race in an up and down season for him at Benetton. Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello came into Parc Fermé to receive the congratulations of the Ferrari team. Delighted at 2 fine performances. In the Drivers' Championship, Schumacher extended his lead over David Coulthard. Ralf Schumacher took over 3rd place in the championship from Rubens Barrichello. Juan Pablo Montoya, the only other driver, into double figures. Brothers Schumacher congratulated each other again. They had plenty to celebrate, and so did the Ferrari team. Topping the 100 points in the Constructors' Championship, now 52 ahead of McLaren. Williams in 3rd place, Sauber, Jordan and BAR into double figures. The only team without a point, Minardi. So Michael Schumacher, his 6th win in 10 Grand Prix this season, a commanding leader in the Drivers' Championship, and plenty to celebrate on the podium at Magny-Cours. But what had made the difference this time?
I think our strategy worked better, honestly. It wasn't because Ralf had a problem, I guess, at least from what I've seen. Because they stayed out longer, to my view, so it means more fuel, longer pit stop, and we a bit shorter. My second set was really very good. I was really flying. I did have a little bit of a problem with my third set. I wasn't as fast anymore as I was with my second. So we will find out what's going on there. But anyway, it's the perfect result, as you said before. In Canada, we had 1-2 Ralph, myself, and now we have 1-2 myself and Ralph. And Rubens next to us. Bit unexpected, I guess, for Rubens, coming from where he came. We did a perfect race. So obviously for Ferrari, a very good day.
Second place for Ralf Schumacher. He started from pole, but his first pit stop proved crucial.
Yeah, they had a pit stop problem. That's why we lost the position, I guess, in first place. But in the second stint, my set didn't work at all. So, I mean, I was so slow, really. I was losing everything, and I had to come in earlier than expected. So I couldn't... If I would have come out in front of Michael, I think it would have been very difficult to hold him behind me. So, I mean, I can be actually happy to sit here in second today, because it was a disaster and really difficult to drive.
Rubens Barrichello making it 2 Ferraris in the top 3 after an alternative strategy.
Ross came on the radio and said, "Would you like to try a 3-stop?" And I said, "I think so. It's a good idea, because then I can be quick on the track the whole time, and am I only doing 2 stops? Am I only finishing in front of the Jordan? So let's try." And I think it was a really good try, and I thank the team very, very much, because it was a hell of a race.
7 races to go. Michael Schumacher and Ferrari doing a great job of retaining their championships.